Hello, today we're looking at your practice quiz. So this is something that you should be able to complete independently. However, if you're having a hard time completing it independently, feel free to rely on this video, but do make sure that you can do it on your own. If I were struggling with this, I would work along with me, do the solution on this video, then sit down and do it on my own. Some of you probably were able to get right through this just on your own. And in that case, this video will just serve as like a checkpoint as to whether you did everything the way that I was expecting you to do it. So what you're seeing right here are the instructions. You should follow these instructions in order. If you don't follow them in order, things are probably not going to go very well. The other thing that you should understand is just how helpful it would be to print those out. If you had two monitors, you could do a split screen or something. You could do manage it however you want to manage it, but printing these out is going to save you time. And when you have to do a timed quiz or test, I mean, it's all about time, so it's smart to print these out. And so I've got them printed out next to me, and it's going to help a lot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow these instructions in this order. I'm going to apply those to this document here. This document has no formatting in it. It's got all the pictures. That's the thing you're going to format, and when you're done, it's going to look like that. You will need to reference the finished example a few times. There's just no way that I can really tell you where that picture belongs without saying just look at the example. So do remember that you have the example and you should reference it when you feel like it. One of the most important things I can tell you about this is, see how this picture is here? If your picture is here, I really don't care. Do you see how that changed the text in the document and things are different? I don't care about that. I've seen people spending a ton of time trying to get your pictures exactly where mine are, trying to get your text to break exactly how mine does. All I'm looking at is that I can check off that you did all those things, without any weird missteps. If you can just complete all the steps in the instructions, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it looking exactly like mine. That said, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is format the title of the document from the mouse to the iPad. 20-point Castellar font, bold, centered, purple. I'm going to go fast. There's a pause button, rewind button, whatever you need. So 20-point. So Castellar or Castellar, I don't know how to say this word. I'm assuming you have it. You might not have it. If you don't have this font, pick something else. Pick something that you think is similar. Something that's not a normal font like Arial or Times New Roman. Just something fancy. So it's bold, it's 20-point, it's purple. I don't care what shade of purple you use. I really don't. And centered. That was step 1. Step 2, format the subheading, The Incredible Legacy of Steve Jobs, as 16-point. We're going Bauhaus 93, or I don't know how to say it. You might not have this font. My computers have always had this font installed, but if you don't have this font, pick something fancy. And we're going bold. We're going centered, and we're going some kind of blue, right? I did that. You can do that. I don't care. Fine, I'll do that, just to show you how much I don't care. Apply the subtitle style to the headings. So notice that list of headings, so like the original Macintosh mouse. And so when we talk about styles, we're talking about these things, and that's subtitle. Notice that I just clicked once in the heading. You don't need to select it. You can select the whole thing if you want to, but you're not exactly saving yourself any time by doing that, right? It's a paragraph style, so it doesn't really matter. I'm sitting here kind of lost in my own document, but that's it. That was those headings. The problem is you got these headings and you got these headings, but if you look at the instructions, you'll get it straight. It's confusing even to me because there's just so many headings and what one's supposed to be formatted as what. The next one is, so apply the intense emphasis style to the secondary headings, how it all started. So like this right here. So we're going intense emphasis, that's that. Now, oh, that was a horrible example because it didn't do anything. Now if you do this, you notice how it just formats the word? So this is like a character style, it's not a paragraph style. So if you want to apply that one, you have to apply it like that. You have to select the whole paragraph. Now I also imagine that some of you might not have as many styles as I do. Really, you pull down that's more. You should see the styles you want in there. I guess it's probably possible that you wouldn't have all the styles that I'm asking for. If that were the case, you'd just want to make a note of it. But as you see, I've got them. I just don't know what updates of the software you have, because I know that those seem to be the kind of things that change. So I'm just working my way through, grabbing those headings and applying that style. All right. So that was the end of step 4. So I did that, did that, did that, did that. Now we're going to set the paragraph spacing for the entire document to 0 before and 6 after. So here's how I like to do that. I'm going to do, however you want to select all the text in the document, go ahead. I'm going to do a Control-A, triple-click that margin. But we need to select everything in the document. And we need to change the paragraph spacing. You could do that from that dialog box, but I kind of like to go over to the layout dialog box, or sorry, the layout tab, and see how it's just empty. I spin that up once for 0, spin that up twice for 6, and now all of my paragraphs have 0, 6. Do you see why I like this tab? Because you can see the properties of the paragraphs without digging in. You can dig in and see the 0, 6 here, but I like that you can see it on the ribbon. So anyways, where the heck am I? There. So now I'm on 6. Align the pictures as in the example. Set wrap text as necessary. So this is one where you have to look at this. So one picture's there, one's around there, one's around there. I'm just looking at rough locations. And notice I don't tell you the text wrap that you need, because it kind of doesn't really matter. I mean, when it's this, the specifics of what you're going for here, just it's vague. So what I'm going to do is click on that picture, head over to Picture Tools. For wrap text, square tighter through. Those are all going to be fine. That's not fine. That's not fine. And that's not fine. Right? Like, it's not, any one of these is going to work for you. And once you do that, you can move it on over. If you can't move it, it means you haven't set the wrap text appropriately. Now, I don't really care whether it's there or there. You see how it has a bearing on the rest of my document. I mean, if yours is over here, that'd be a problem, right? But over here somewhere is good. I try and use those little green lines. They show you where the margin is, and I'm trying to align it like that, but don't waste your time trying to get that perfect, because I don't care. So this one goes over here somewhere, and this one goes over here somewhere. I'm not asking you to resize these things. If I asked you to resize it, it would be clear. So there's my pictures. Now it's time for the header. So there's plenty of ways you can do headers. I'm going to do them the same way I always do them, which is double-clicking up in the margin. So one of the first things I should have done, I realize right now that I should have had non-printing characters on. I always have those on, and you should have them on too. It didn't matter yet, but it should have been the first thing I did. I actually, it's almost funny. I turned them off right before this video so I could show you that I was turning them on, because there's always people in a class like this that don't really know how to turn those on. So anyways, header time. So I'm going to double click up in the header. So I'm going to write my name. Then I'm going to tab once to go to the middle and tab again to go to the end. And I imagine I want a page number over there. So for the page number, I'm going to use the tool, and I'm going to go current position. There's no negotiating this. It's current position or you're going to get this wrong. All those other ones aren't going to work, even though they seem like they're good ideas. And there's my header. So I use tabs to navigate around that. There's these kind of template-y ways you can do headers, but I'm not a fan of those. I'm a big fan of doing everything manually. If you can create things from scratch, then that means you understand how they work. On that note, let's go down and work on the footer. That's the next step here. So footer, 2 paragraphs. Incredible legacy of Steve Jobs and today's date. So 2 paragraphs, that's kind of a weird one. I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to double click down on the footer. The first paragraph is the incredible legacy of Steve Jobs. And when I say 2 paragraphs, I mean press enter. There's your second paragraph. For date and time, today's date, I'm going to choose that one, but I don't care what one of these you choose. I really don't. Any of them do fine. Just use a tool. So you notice I'm not going insert header. I'm not trying to magically find the right header in here, because what I'm asking for is never going to be in this list. But if you know how to create your headers and footers from scratch, then everything should be good. All right. So next up on the list, we're getting close to being done here. Replace the Woz with Steve Wozniak and Bruce Wayne with Ronald Wayne. All right, so these words do just occur once in the document. They're both right here. You could do that manually. All right. I already changed it. So that's what your document looks like. Yours says the Woz. So you could just change that, but what I'm trying to get out is Home tab, replace. The was with Steve Wozniak. Replace all. Okay. And then I also want to change Bruce Wayne to Ronald Wayne, so I'll go replace Bruce Wayne. I could probably get away with just changing Bruce to Ronald, but I'll do the whole thing just to make it clear. Okay, so that was our find and replace. Now we want to create the footnote in the second paragraph under the heading iPod, iPad, iPhone. I think finding the place is the hard one to do this, and so the footnote's going to be 100 million iPhones sold. So this is under the heading iPhone, iPad, iPod. To let you know it, so here's that heading. This is the finished example. It's not clear how I'm going back and forth, but that's where the footnote is. It's right after the word iPhone. Kind of like I explained. Some things it's just hard to find them. So that's where it goes. And we're doing a footnote, so that's under references, insert footnote. 100 million iPhones sold worldwide. There's your footnote. Next. Create the superscript in the 7th paragraph of the document after the word Lucasfilm, or it's also the 2nd paragraph below the heading how it all started. Let's talk about that for a moment. So when I say 7th paragraph, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, I guess that's one, but that's a nonsense paragraph. Or it's the second one underneath that heading. So it's right there. If you don't know what a superscript is, I don't blame you. I haven't showed you, but we can find them. They're on the Home tab. If I go Home tab, looking in my font group, you hover there and you'll see Superscript. So what you do, you just turn on Superscripts, write a TM, and then you see what those are, right? It's like a trademark symbol. The other way you can do that's under the Insert tab under Symbol. Same thing. So you're not going to do a lot of superscripts, but that's what they are. There's also subscripts, right? I can't help but think you're talking about like some chemistry, and that's your exponents in terms of like a different context. Almost done. Now we're going to do our watermark. It's do not copy. So I head on over here. That seems like a layout, and that's design. Watermark, do not copy. Spell check the document, use some judgment. So if I want to do spell check, that's review, that's spelling and grammar. Legacy change, Lucasfilm, I'm going to ignore. Approximately, I'm going to change. Clones, I'm going to change. Program, I'm going to change. iPod, I'm going to ignore. Disk, I'm going to change. That's my spell check. And ensure the document fits on 2 pages. So let's talk about that. And we're pretty much done. So here's my deal. Make sure this thing's 2 pages. It was 3 pages to start. It's 2 pages. I'm good. I don't really need to worry about things. Some things I would worry about, though, on that note of non-printing characters, is there's just some garbage in here, like that. You see that? There's no reason for that empty paragraph, or that one, or that one. That kind of stuff can always be cleaned up. If you're wondering what the heck that was, those are remnants from the old pictures that were there. And if you want to get rid of that one, you can, but really you only have to get rid of it if it's causing you another page. So that was this. Like I said, if you could get through this without my help, then in probably 30 minutes or something, then you're probably in good shape. But if you were really struggling to find everything, then you might want to practice this a few times. The quiz that you do will be a similar set of skills. Honestly, it'll probably be... There's some easier stuff in the quiz, whereas this didn't have a ton of super easy stuff. But there's more steps, so it's pretty comparable. So I hope this helped your understanding. If you need to do this multiple times, then do it multiple times. If what you did was just like this, then you're in good shape, and I wouldn't hesitate to go do that quiz. Thanks for watching.